Yeah.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our second Multaqa NASPA. Today we have a wonderful speaker on social media and how to work with students on social media. I'm sure you've read his biography, inshallah, online. We have it available in Arabic and English. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Bisher. Bisher, go right ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So,
go ahead, you can talk about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Hello, everyone. First of all, it's nice to have you here, and I hope you will have an insightful workshop, and that I'll be able to help you introducing you to the social media. First thing we would like to do is that we have a poll that is running right now. And this poll is just to see if all of you guys speak English. So in case all of you guys speak English, then we can have this webinar in English only. Or if any of you speaks only Arabic, that's fine too. We can do a bilingual webinar. Okay, so I see that you are voting. Okay, so I'm gonna also introduce myself in Arabic. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يعطيكم العافية. سعيدين جدا بتواجدكم معنا اليوم، وإن شاء الله بإذن الله نقدر نفيدكم اليوم قدر الإمكان. حاليا في مثل بول أو مثل تصويت على موضوع انه اذا انتم بتحكوا عربي وانجليزي. في حال انه اذا ما بتحكوا انجليزي ممكن نعمل هي الويبينار بالانجليزي وبالعربي، ما في مشكله ابدا، احنا محضرين حالنا هذا الشيء. بس في حال انه انتم بتقدروا تحكوا انجليزي وبتقدروا تفهموا انجليزي، ساعتها راح يكون اسهل لكم انه نحكي بس بالانجليزي. فرجاء التصويت اذا كنتوا حابين هي الويبينار تكون بالانجليزي بس او بالانجليزي وبالعربي، ما في مشكله ابدا، بس مشان نحقق الفائده المرجوه قدر الامكان ان شاء الله. اوكي جريت، تمام. All right, so we're going to do mostly English with some Arabic. Yeah, so إن شاء الله رح نعملها أغلبيتها بالإنجليزي لأنه أغلبكم صوت بالإنجليزي، ورح كمان يكون في عربي إن شاء الله مع شوية عربي. طيب بسم الله نبلش. All right, so let's get started. All right, so before we begin, I would like to have a little experiment. Let's do some kind of a little experiment. Well, this works better, of course, if I have you guys in front of me or in a room. But let's try to make this experiment happen. I would like you to decide to be on the blue team or the green team. So right now you can decide, I would like to be in the blue team or the green team. So whatever thing you pick, it's okay, but just like stick with it so that this experiment can go through. حاليا حنعمل بس تجربة بسيطة وهي انه بدي اياكم تختاروا الفريق الاخضر او الفريق الازرق. اي فريق تختاروا ما في مشكلة، بس يعني stick، يعني خليكم على الفريق اللي بتختاروه. لا انا بدي بس اللي اختار الفريق الازرق يركز معي، اما اللي اختار الفريق الاخضر يسكر عيونه. So I would like from the blue team to have their attention, while I would like the green team to close their eyes. So close their eyes from the screen. Okay. So green team, you should be closing your eyes now, as I will show a picture to the blue team. Come on. Okay. So blue team, watch the image in front of you. Green team, keep your eyes closed. Okay. All right. Green team, you can open your eyes at the moment. And now it's your turn, Team Blue, to close your eyes. مثل ما قلنا الفريق الأخضر ممكن يفتح عيونه هلا، بس بدنا الفريق الأزرق هلا يسكر عيونه. So okay, blue team, are you closing your eyes? All right, and now green team, watch the screen. Blue team, close your eyes. Okay, now both teams you can open your eyes. الأزرق والأخضر ممكن يفتحوا عيونهم. Okay, هلا now I would like you to tell me what you see in front of you. Green team and blue team. Maybe you can use the chat system. All right, so for the green team and the blue team, I would like to ask you, okay, in the chat box, type what age do you think this lady in the image, how old it is, how old she is. 20s, 30s, oh, we got 60s, 25, 71. Okay, we're getting varied. Okay, she looks young. Someone said 80, 23, 90, 95, about 30, 95, 70. So we're either getting 20s or over 80s. Okay, interesting. 20 to 30. It's still coming, okay. 72, 45. All right, so I would like to ask the green team. Sorry, I'll say that in Arabic. للي بيحكوا عربي أنا بدي إياكم بس تكتبوا بالشات قديش بتقدروا عمر المرأة يلي شايفينها بالصورة. قديش بتقدروا عمرها تقريبا. All right, so I would like to ask the blue team. Okay, what do you think? Because I believe some of the people from the green team said that she's about 80. What do you think, blue team? Is she 80? Does she look like she's 80 or 90 years old? Nope. She does not look 90 or 80. She looks young. So the blue team disagree, apparently. I see only a young woman. Okay. Not even close to 70. All right. Now let's ask the people from the green team. Do you see an old, do you see a young lady? Like about 20, 25? Green team? She is an old lady, no way. About okay. Now I can see some of you are seeing both. Not 20. Okay. So what we have here is that most of the green people, green team people, see that she is old, about 80 or 90. while the blue team sees that she is about 20 or 25. All right, so okay, let's crack this up. All right, okay, so if you look closely, I would like the green team to look closely and yeah. All right, for the green team who are seeing the old lady, I would like you to look closely and see the nose of the old lady, okay? All right. So, yeah, sorry. The blue team, I'm not sure if they can see my arrow. Just a second. Okay, so you can see my arrow. Yeah, okay, great. All right, cool. All right, so for the green team who are seeing the old lady, I'm guessing that, and the blue team, you can listen as well. So if the green team sees this as the nose of the old lady, okay, and this is her eye, and this is her mouth, and this is her chin, and this is the fur that she's covering herself with, a little bit of a scarf, as you can see it, okay. So blue team, can you see it now? Can you see the old lady? Again, the green team sees the, this is her nose, and this is her eye, this is her mouth, and this is her other. So can you see it? Now I got the whole picture. Yes, yes. So people can see it. Okay, now for the green team, do you see the young lady? So the young lady is looking that direction. This is the eyelids. This is the her eye looking that way. This is her nose, as you can see. Okay. This is her nose, and she's looking that direction. This is her, what you can say, it's a necklace. Okay, on her neck. This is her neck, and this is her chin, or the face bones. And this is her ear. Can you see the young woman now? Green team. Alright, so واضح انه شايفين المرأة العجوز والمرأة الصغيرة. Okay, alright. So what is the meaning of this experiment? This is an experiment that was portrayed in Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Most Effective People, and he uses, or this experiment is used to show how people have different perspectives on things. And while both of the green and blue team sees different things, both of them are correct about the image that they see. So the green team is correct about seeing an old lady, and the blue team is correct about seeing a young lady, and we have seen how the image combine both pictures. However, the bottom line is we have been exposed to a picture for about 10 seconds that made us look at this picture, the main picture, in a different way. So, for example, the green, the green, this is another portrait of the photo, if you'd like to. Yeah. So, the green team was shown this picture of the old lady, while the blue team was shown this picture of the young lady. So you were exposed to information, consider this as information, for about what, 10 seconds. And it made you look at things, or you had applied a lens on your mind that made you look at things differently. So what do you think about our whole life experiences? So each one of us had different childhood, lived in a different city, got different kinds of experiences, all worked into altering the way we see the world. And while we, two of us might be, or two teams might be seeing the same picture, they might translate it differently. So I wanted to begin with this experiment because as I worked in social media, I realized how necessary that I realized this principle, that many people might look at things differently and they might still be right about what they're seeing. So as you tap in social media, be prepared to basically be exposed to different perspectives. Social media should help us bridge the gaps or communicate effectively. So you'll be exposed to different perspectives, different opinions, and this is all right because we are owed to learn from each other and discuss, like just like what the green and the blue team discussed in the chat right here. You guys exchange your views. The blue team said, okay, no, this is a young woman, and the green team said, no, this is an old woman. While you're both correct, you were trying to show the others how do you see it. Of course, in social media, you have limitations on the body language. You do not use your voice, so the others will not understand if you're using a high pitch, so you are like excited, or a low pitched, so you are more like relaxed. And also there will be no eye contact, so there will be just characters, and we're just connected through characters. So as social media coordinators or people who are preparing themselves to join the conversation, we have to put in our minds that we are being exposed, we are going to get exposed to a lot of different perspectives, and we should take a moment always to try to understand, and count to 10 maybe, and try to understand, maybe use some kind of probing and ask more questions to have the image that the others are seeing and we're not, because at the end we might both be correct, but we're seeing it from different angles. Because we are scripted through our life experiences from birth, throughout the childhood and our education and career and so on. So I hope if the message got clear. If you have any questions or something might not be clear out of this experiment, you can type in the question box while I translate this to Arabic. طيب للي بيحكوا عربي طبعا كنا عم نشوف انه نحن بمجرد انه تعرضنا للصورة، صورة المرأة العجوز او صورة المرأة الصغيرة، صرنا نشوف العالم بطريقة مختلفة. هلا الفريق الاخضر والفريق الازرق اثنيناتهم على حق، يعني اثنيناتهم كانوا عم يشوفوا شيء معين واثنيناتهم على حق، يعني ما في حدا فيهم غلطان. بس هي التجربة عشان يعني بتفرجينا انه كيف بانه مجرد 10 ثواني تعرضنا لمعلومات معينة خلتنا نفسر العالم بطريقة مختلفة. فنحن بعالم السوشيال ميديا لما نيجي نتواصل مع بعض رح يكون في كثير يعني آراء مختلفة، رح يكون في كثير وجهات نظر مختلفة، فنحن لازم دائما يعني نحاول يعني نبدي تفهمنا للآخرين أو نصبر شوي حتى أو نتواصل بشكل أحسن حتى نقدر نشوف الأمور من وجهات نظر مختلفة، لأنه الناس يعني اللي عم نتواصل معهم من كل أنحاء العالم تعرضوا ل يعني نحن تعرضنا ل10 ثواني من معلومات. نحن يعني تعودنا من 10 ثواني تعرضنا فيها لمعلومات عن المرأة العجوز والمرأة الصغيرة. فشو ببالك يعني الحياة كلياتها، نحن بنات ما ولدنا، طبيعة التجارب اللي خضناها في المدرسة، طبيعة التجارب اللي خضناها من التعليم، من الشغل، كلياتها خلتنا نشوف العالم بشكل مختلف. فنحن بنتواصل مع السوشيال ميديا، حنتواصل مع ناس مروا بتجارب مختلفة وعم يشوفوا العالم بطريقة غير، فلازم نحاول نحن قدر الإمكان أو نعي إنه الناس عم تشوف العالم من طريقة مختلفة طبقا لهذا، وهذا الشيء جميل يعني إنه نقدر نشوف وجهات نظر الناس مختلفة مثل ما عملنا في المرأة العجوز والمرأة الهنا. بالضبط هلا في اوكي تمام. Alright, so let's get started with our presentation. This is going to be our agenda for today, and I hope I put in it like all the experiences that we went through at Qatar University since I have worked here like 5 years ago, and I really hope that this will come in handy for you guys when you tap into social media and try to connect with your students. So basically, we're going to go through the social media paradigm for universities. So this is the core of our presentation. After that, we're going to go quickly through the content plan and the social capital theory. Okay, in Arabic. طيب هي الأجندة تبعنا لليوم. يعني حاولت أحط فيها كل الشغلات اللي اجت من تجاربنا نحن في جامعة قطر. في رح نبلش بالخريطة الذهنية لوسائل التواصل الاجتماعي، هي محور البرزنتيشن. بعدين حننتقل بسرعة إلى خطة المحتوى ورأس المال الاجتماعي. بسم الله نبدأ إن شاء الله. Alright, so let's get started with the social media paradigm for universities. Alright, so as you can see here, you see a paradigm or a pyramid of 3 elements and a 4th element going around, which is organized. So as you can see in the base, there is listen, and there is talk, and there is influence, and we're going to go through them one by one. And at the end, there is organize. Yeah. Okay. So just to confirm, for those who are asking about the PowerPoint slides, we're going to for sure send them out to you, as I said in the chat box. Okay. All right. So as you can see here from this pyramid, and we cannot go to talk on social media unless we go through listening, and so on in a similar manner. In a similar manner, we cannot go to influence unless we go through listen and talk and so on. And the organize is the last element of them all. So in order for us to get into influence and engagement, we have to go through listen and talk. And mind the light bulb, we have a total of 4 paradigms in this whole presentation. So once you see this, you might want to write it down so that it sticks with you. Or just pay attention to this paradigm that we lay out in this presentation. So we move to Arabic. Okay, هلا مثل ما كنتم شايفين انه في عندنا مثل خريطه ذهنيه لشبكات التواصل الاجتماعي اللي هي الاصغاء، التحدث، التاثير والتنظيم. مثل ما شايفين انه نحن هذا هرم، فما نقدر نروح على التحدث قبل ما نمر بالاصغاء، ما نقدر نروح على التاثير قبل ما نمر بالاصغاء والى اخره. فهذا النموذج هو نحن عملناه في جامعة قطر من أثر التجارب اللي مرينا فيها. As I was saying, we developed this pyramid. I developed this pyramid out of the experience we had in Qatar University over the 4 to 5 years, and we came up. We were building this paradigm like layer by layer after each like year. But so the question is, why do we need a paradigm anyway? We need a paradigm because a paradigm basically is like a mind map that show you the way to achieve social media engagement and to achieve social media influence. So basically, let's say that we are here at the moment, and this is the Qatar University map, and we are here at the moment, and I want you guys to go to the admission and registration building right here. So imagine if I gave you, instead of giving you the Qatar University campus map, I gave you the map of a different campus, which is, for example, Qatar Foundation map, or a map of any other campus. How difficult would it be for you to get to that place if you have the wrong map? It's the same thing with our paradigms and mind maps. Like, for example, if we believe that we can reach to social media engagement with the students by talking, for example, by talking all the time without listening. This is just for example. So we might get to the wrong place faster, just like what we will have at the end of this like map. If we are using this map of a different campus, we will just go to the wrong place faster, and we would be like someone with this map trying to go to the Qatar University registration building will be like, okay, let's try harder. Maybe we should keep going, and maybe we should do that or do this. But as long as we are doing the same thing, we will just reach the wrong place faster. So this is why it's really important out of the social media literature that I have came across that we have the right paradigm, we have the right mind map into how to achieve social media engagement with the students or social media success interaction in general. Now we'll turn to Arabic. So مثل ما كنت عم بقول انه نحن ليش نحاجه لخريطه ذهنيه اصلا؟ لانه طبعا نحن تخيل انه نحن حاليا هلا في هذا المبنى اللي هو نشاط الطلابي، وانا بدي اياكم تروحوا على اداره قبول وتسجيل. فتخيلوا انه بجامعه قطر، فتخيلوا انا اعطيتكم بدل خريطه جامعه قطر، اعطيتكم الماب تبع قطر فاونديشن وقلت لكم يلا روحوا واستخدموا هاي الخريطه. فطبعا يعني اذا استخدمتوا هالخريطه رح توصلوا للمكان الخطا، ولو اصريتوا على هذا الشيء وقلتوا لا انه خلينا نحاول مره ثانيه وثالثه رح توصلوا على المكان الخطا بشكل اسرع. فيعني نفس الشيء بالسوشيال ميديا، ليش نحن بحاجه لخريطه ذهنيه؟ ليش بحاجه نحن لقواعد ومبادئ؟ لانه اذا استخدمنا الافكار الخطا وقلنا انه مثلا انه نحن ممكن نحكي بدون ما نسمع للطلبه، رح نوصل للمكان الخطا بشكل اسرع، تماما كانه مثل واحد عنده يعني خريطه لمدينه معينه وهو بمدينه اخرى تماما. Right, so we will take the paradigm layer by layer. So the first layer is listen. رح ناخذ الخريطه الذهنيه لشبكات التواصل الاجتماعي لبنه لبنه او مرحله مرحله. فاول وحده هي اصغي. Alright, so we have a second paradigm over here, which is the principle of community management. So when you think social media, when we have the term like social media coordinator, for example, we think of like a job that requires you to coordinate some kind of messages and just send them to social media using media principles or advertising principles or propaganda or whatever. But in fact, social media is more than that. It's now instead of like social media coordinator in a lot of organizations, they use the term community management, and this is the paradigm that we want to have for ourselves when we tap into social media. When you tap into social media and join the conversations with the students, what you're actually doing or what you'll be involving yourself into is some sort of community management and leadership, if we may say, if we take it to the next level. There is a book called Likeable Social Media by Dave Kerben, and at the back of this book I saw this quote. Actually it's from the author Seth Godin, like commenting on the book and as a review, and he said, alas, common sense is not so common. Dave takes you on a sadly much needed guided tour of how to be human in a digital world. And this is was like a light bulb of a new paradigm that I got from this review. Basically, if we are approaching social media, we have to be human and think human, think people, think community, think students, because social media is a two-way communication. It's not like the TV, it's one-way communication. TV is one-way communication and radio is one-way communication. But social media made it possible for all of us to be content providers. So we are basically joining the conversation with those students. So it's important that we maintain the human element in our communication and approach social media in a human way. مثل ما كنت عم اقول انه هي في لما نحن ندخل على عالم السوشيال ميديا او شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي، فنحن عم ندخل بمفهوم اداره المجتمع. لما نحن نقول مثلا لما نسمي حالنا منسقين شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي، تمام؟ فعم نقول انه والله انه نحن والله عم نبعث مسجات عن طريق التويتر وخلص، انه بس نحن عم نعمل دعايه للاكتيفيتيز اللي عندنا بالجامعه او الفعاليات اللي عندنا بالجامعه والى اخره وبس. بس هو فعليا هلا في كثير من الشركات عم تسمي تسميه اخرى لصاحب هذا المنصب اللي بيدير الشبكات التواصل الاجتماعي للمؤسسه، وهي اداره المجتمع. انت بالاخير عم تدير مجتمع، ومو بس عم تتواصل بشكل ميكانيكي او شكل رقمي او لا، انه انت عم تتعامل بالاخير مع يعني طلاب، وكل طالب له وجهه نظره، وكل طالب له المشاعر تبعه الى اخره. فنحن بالاخير يعني الشغل تبعنا بيتوسع لحتى ندير المجتمع، وحتى نحافظ على علاقتنا مع الطلبه والى اخره. في كتاب عم بقراه حاليا هو شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي المحبوبه لديف كيربن، هذا موجود بجرير مترجم. فبقفل الكتاب او على ظهره مكتوب تعليق يعني اثار لفت نظري، هو انه لاحد المؤلفين اللي قرأوا الكتاب، فقرأ عنه انه للاسف الامور البديهيه تغيب عن الاذهان. ديف ياخذك في جوله نحن بامس الحاجه اليها في كيف تصبح انسانيا في عالم رقمي. يعني موضوع انه لازم واحد يكون انساني لما يتطرق الى السوشيال ميديا هو امر جدا مهم. Okay, so why should we listen? There is this piece of news that I think happened last year, not so long before. It was the University of Columbia, Missourian, and there was some kind of a racist incident where someone wrote something racist against the black community on their dorms in the university. And the student community had held a lot of strikes against this and demanded from the university to respond. But the university did not respond to this incident. So what happened is that they kept going through strikes, and even the football team was all striking and stopped from playing. And then eventually they asked the president to resign until they made him resign. In his resignation speech, he said something that is really important in terms of listening, and that is, he said, "It is my belief that we stop listening to each other. It is my belief that we stop listening to each other." And he said that, "I hope that students would, or the community and the university would use my resignation as a starting point to listen more and learn from this experiment." So when it comes to universities, especially universities or organizations as well, the sense of the community, the sense of keep listening to the community, to their sentiment. Are they upset? Are they wanting something of change? Do they have a lot of brilliant ideas that we are not shedding light on? Or that we need to shed some light on those talented students, or whatever it is. Your social media, or as a community manager, you have to reflect this, you have to embrace this, you have to be a human, you have to embrace all these factors and maintain a good relationship with the community, with the help of social media, of course. مثل ما كنت عم بقول انه في خبر السنه الماضيه صار مو كثير بعيد، انه عن جامعه كولومبيا ميزوريان، انه في مثل ناس كتبوا عبارات يعني مسيئه او عنصريه ضد المجتمع شو اسمه يسموه البلاك كوميونتي، فانه كتبوها على السكن تبع الطلاب. فالمجتمع الطلابي مثل عمل اضراب، ويعني سأل او طلب من اداره الجامعه انه تتصرف او انه تعلق على هذا الموضوع او تتخذ اجراءات ضد هذا الفعل العنصري، ولكن اداره الجامعه ما عملت اي شيء. فتطور الموضوع وتصاعد الى انه المجتمع الطلابي طلب من الاداره انه طلب من الاداره انه رئيس الجامعه انه يستقيل. ولما استقال رئيس الجامعه، لما ارغموه انه يستقيل، فقال شغله كثير حلوه لما بخطاب الاستقاله تبعه، قال انا يعني نحن ليش وصلنا لهالمرحله؟ لانه باعتقادي انه نحن توقفنا عن الاصغاء لبعضنا البعض، فلازم نحن دائما نصغي لبعضنا البعض. لما انت عم تتعامل بمجتمع جامعي او حتى بكل المجتمعات في باقي المؤسسات، فانت عم تتعامل مع ناس، فلازم تحافظ على علاقتك معهم، لازم افكارهم انت تحتويها، إذا مثلا أنت عندك مجموعة من الطلاب متميزين بشيء معين، يمكن لازم تسلط الضوء على هذا الشيء وتحتوي وتحافظ على علاقتك القوية معهم. تمام. We have a question that says, do you think listening to all students with all this diversity is possible? Well, what I think is that social media at least made it, as we will see on the listening tools afterwards, made it more possible for us to do so. Most of the times, like you have a lot of complaints and a lot of okay, just a second. Do you think this? Yeah. So as you listen to the online conversation from a variety of students, certain issues will be the highlight of events. As we see from this experiment in Columbia, Missouri, this took like a wider scale that included almost all the student community and the university community as well. So social media made it possible for us to recognize problems when they happen and to assign a threshold, for example, to when we should react and when a problem that arises is actually a huge problem. So when you see that on social media, and it will help you, as we will see afterwards, to tackle the most important problems and prioritize your efforts towards it with the collaboration of other bodies in the university. So to answer your question, I believe that social media made it easier for us to reach to a variety of people with different ethnical backgrounds, as we will see afterwards. فبس اجانا السؤال انه هل تعتقد انه الاستماع لكل الستودنت لكل الطلبه باختلاف ثقافاتهم هو ممكن؟ طبعا هذا الشيء السوشيال ميديا ساعد على انه هذا الشيء يتحقق، لانه السوشيال ميديا يعني بيساعدك تشوف شو اكثر الشغلات يلي عم تصير الجدل او عم تصير النقاش في السوشيال ميديا. We will get back to this point يعني afterwards as we explore more about the area. One last point about listening is that as you can see, as I have gone through some literature or a lot of literature on social media, as you can see, for example, this Likeable Social Media by Dave Kerben is the book that I'm reading right now, and I highly recommend it. I consider it a great source of principles that you can adopt when you are tackling social media, for those who would like to extend on it. And as you can see, it's in the chapter 1, it says, listen first and never stop listening. And listening just like, and on another book, Social Media Business Equation, is that you have at chapter 2, it's like, it's saying, sorry for that, it's saying shut up and listen. So it's stressing the issue of listening. So anyway, if I'm recommending any book, I would recommend Likeable Social Media by Dave Kerben. It has a lot of principles, but the highlight is, as you open social media literature, you will find there is a stress on listening and how you should always start with listening. And why is that? I think one can theorize that when social media started in 2004 and 2005, companies started to join the conversation and making their profiles and their pages, and they just keep talking and talking and talking and talking about themselves while they are joining the conversation. And it's not a one-way street anymore. Not just like in the TV or the radio, the traditional media, where it's a one-way communication and there is only the broadcasters and the rest are listeners. Now everybody can contribute with their content. So to react to this phenomena, I think the social media experts have stressed in their articles and their books and everywhere they go is that you should listen first. and we're gonna see how this goes. كنت عم بقول بس انه بالكتب اللي شفتها اللي بتحكي عن السوشيال ميديا، شفت انه الكل صار مأكد على موضوع الليسننج. فاذا بتشوف هذا مثلا قنوات التواصل الاجتماعي المحبوبه لديف كيربن، هذا موجود بجرير مترجم، انه عم يقول انه استمع اولا ولا تتوقف عن الاستماع. هذا الشابتر الاول، يعني اول شيء. وحتى بكتب اخرى كله عم يركز على موضوع الاستماع او الاصغاء يعني حتى. هذا الشيء صار لانه اول ما بلشت السوشيال ميديا كل المؤسسات والشركات صاروا يلتحقوا بهي السوشيال ميديا البلاتفورمز تبعهم، يعملوا لهم تويتر اكونت او فيسبوك اكونت ويحكوا يعني انه. فالخبراء في السوشيال ميديا اللي عملوه انه حتى يعني كردة فعل لهذا الشيء صاروا لا يركزوا على موضوع انه لسه يعني الاصغاء، لانه انت عم تنضم الى محادثه. انت مو مثل يعني مثل زمان انه والله تلفزيون او راديو وخلص في بس واحد عم يحكي والجمهور كله متلقي. لا، الجمهور هلا هو مو متلقي بس، هو كمان بيقدر يدلي بالدلوه، يعني كل حدا بيقدر يدلي بالدلوه. فكان لازم انه يلي بينضم لهي هذا كانسان او يعني حتى المؤسسات قبل الاشخاص العاديين، انه لازم يصغي ويستمع الى الجمهور تبعه. يعني نحن بالنسبه للجامعه الطلبه تبعه لازم نسمع لهم، لازم نفهم انه شو بدهم. ف يعني شو اسمه. Now we're going to go quickly on how to listen, or the tools that are available to listening. So you can do it in a variety of ways. I'm just going to go quickly around them. So you have the Meltwater software. It's one of the giant softwares out there. It's pretty much sophisticated. It has a lot of tools, and if you give these guys a call, they will take you throughout the system. There is also Hootsuite, which we will go over it in a moment, and also TweetDeck. If you're not using any of these softwares, you can still listen manually, which I honestly do most of the time, because basically it's according to your audience. So our audience interact mostly of our primary audience, which are the students. They mostly interact on hashtag Qatar University in Arabic. So if I open this and click on live instead of top, just click on live and you'll see a second-by-second update on what students are saying about you. You can also use the search bar, which is right here, and just between quotation write Qatar University, so that even if the students are using a hashtag or not, they can still see what they're talking about you as a university. And you just start listening. I focus on Twitter because it's the most public sphere or the most public platform they have out there. So if anything can go wrong on a wider scale quickly, it's mostly be Twitter, at least for us at Qatar University, because most of our students use Twitter. So the point is that you can either use these softwares that are different in terms of variety or difficulty or sophistication, or you can use the manual way. كنت بس عم اقول انه نحن ممكن يا اما نصغي عن طريق التويتر. انا بالنسبه لي انا بفتح على هاشتاج جامعه قطر وبقرا، لانه يعني دقيقه بدقيقه، لانه معظم طلابنا موجودين على هذا الهاشتاج. او ممكن نستخدم طبعا هدول السوفت ويرز ميلتواتر، هوتسوت وتويتدك اللي حنشوفهم هلا بشكل سريع. طبعا كل واحد بيختلف عن الثاني بدرجه التعقيد اللي فيه. اوكي. So TweetDeck. TweetDeck is the most, it's like a free software. It's very easy, very, like if you don't have your audience scattered around all over social media, you can use this software. It's but this software is especially for Twitter. So if most of your students are on Twitter, you can use this. If you go to Twitter, deck.twitter.com, you can sign in with your Twitter account, and then you can just add columns, as you can see here. So if you click on add column, so you either show notifications, which are the messages sent to your account, who are following you, who are talking to you, and so on. mentions, which are exactly like notifications, but it will just show you who is talking to you, not just like who follows you and who retweeted you, because notifications shows you everything. Mentions shows you only the conversations. Or you can go to search and add, for example, these keywords. Qatar University, for example, hashtag Qatar University in Arabic, between quotations Qatar University in Arabic, or hashtag Qatar University. So you can add the most active ones, and you will end up with something like this, where you can, you'll end up with something like this. You have columns, and they are updated instantly, instantaneously, and with all the updates and the tweets coming under these specified keywords. مثل كنت عم بقول انه التويتك هو كثير شيء سهل وكثير خفيف. it's for free كمان، يعني مجانا. واللي بتقدر تعمله انه يعني بتفوت على tweetdeck.twitter.com وبتدخل من حسابك تبع تويتر، وممكن تضيف مثل اعمده مثل ما انتم شايفين، يعني في هذا عمود وهذا عمود. فلما تحط على مثلا هي add column بيطلع عندك انه تقدر مثلا تضيف notifications, dimensions, search والى اخره، وتحط keywords. Moving on to Hootsuite. So Hootsuite is similar to TweetDeck, but it has more features, and it can include not only Twitter, but it can include all of those networks: Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, WordPress, Instagram, and YouTube. So it's pretty much more advanced than TweetDeck. It's free up to a limit, but I think if you add a lot of columns, then it will ask you to upgrade to Pro and pay some kind of membership fees. It has a lot of features as well, but I'm just going to give you the listening part. So you can add mentions, as we said, Qatar University in Arabic, your posts on Instagram, or the posts that are posted on Instagram under this hashtag, and so on. So it's also good. And what I like about Hootsuite is that you can schedule posts. So for example, if you want to schedule something in the evening and you're going to be busy, so so you're going to be busy, so you might schedule a post, like upload it up, using Hootsuite, and it will be published by itself. So it's pretty good. مثل كان عمول هوتسويت قريب كثير من تويتدك، بس هوتسويت متطور اكثر. تقدر مو بس تستمع للمحادثات اللي بتصير على تويتر، تقدر ايضا انستغرام وفيسبوك وكل شيء يعني. فكل هدول الشغلات، يوتيوب، انستغرام، كل هدول شايفين قدامكم. بس هو طبعا لحد معين، بعدين بيطلب منك انه تدفع شويه مصاري. Okay, so I think we have a question. We'll just take a question before we move on. What do you think is the most attractive subject that could make students more interactive in social media? Okay, this is a good question, but we're gonna get to that. So I'm just we're gonna answer this soon. Okay. All right, so I can see that people started asking about what is the most attractive subject that we can talk, but not until we finish the listening part. I know I'm giving you a hard time about listening, but it's really important. Why it's really important? Because we have gone through an experience that I will just talk to you about at the moment. So this is what happened to us if we talk and not listen. طبعا هلا نحن راح نحكي عن انه ماذا لو تحدثنا وامتنعنا عن الاصغاء، بس هيك انه قعدنا نحكي. نحن طبعا صار معنا تجربه بجامعه قطر، حابب ان لكم اياها. Right, so when we started, we created an account around 2009 at Qatar University, and we had like Facebook and Twitter, and but it was managed by on a part-time by my colleague who was a website administrator. And when I joined in 2011 and I handled the social media on full-time basis, we started like giving news, and we started talking and talking and talking. So what happened is that students reacted to this. So we started in October in 2011. We're just talking, we're just spreading our news. We're talking, and so we joined the conversation by talking. What happened 3 months after that, or sorry, 2 months after that, in December 2011, is that there is a new account called QU Fail, like Qatar University Fail. And the reason, it was a group of students who were angry about the fact that Qatar University is speaking about itself and advertising for itself, while those students are not having their complaints addressed, or it's to my belief that they, on the grounds, they felt that they are being neglected for whatever reasons, and their success stories are not highlighted on the public sphere. So when we went public, the students reacted by, okay, if you are public and you're going to talk about yourself, I want to join the conversation too, and I'm going to shed the light on what is wrong with the campus. So they started QFail. The way we reacted to this is that, of course, we at the External Relations Department, we started thinking on how to react. And I've seen a lot of people reacting in the wrong way, like, okay, let's do something, let's just keep talking about ourselves, okay, or let's just ignore those students, or let's talk to the administrator of this account. All of these will not work, or all of these are not 100% the ethical and the right thing to do, of course. So, yeah. So if you look here, we have two solutions that we can have. Either we focus on what Stephen Covey called a circle of interest, or we focus on the circle of influence. I'm sorry, this slide is not translated, but anyway. So yeah, as you can see here, there's the circle of influence, which means something that we can tackle and we can solve. Like, for example, we build relations, or we improve our services, or we handle the complaints. Or we could focus on our circle of interest and just like convince the community over here that we are still good, we are still the best university, or whatever. Or we can focus on the press and fill it up with positive PR or articles or so on. Or we can, as we said, like approach the students and try to practice some politics with them and so on. But if we focus on those things in the circle of interest, and sorry, just to like highlight the difference between circle of interest and circle of influence. Circle of influence is what you have the influence on, what you can act upon, while circle of interest is something that falls outside of the circle of influence that you do not have direct influence on. So what happens if we focus on the circle of interest, as you see here? Our circle of influence will actually like shrink, and those stuff that we had influence on will be no longer under our direct influence. If we ignored dealing with complaints and improving services and building relations, our circle of influence will just shrink and shrink till we have barely any influence, like what happened with the Columbian Missouri University. We lose all the influence, and students will not trust us in anything we say. However, if we chose a different path and we worked on building our relations and improving our services and dealing with our complaints, what happens is that our circle of influence will grow, and we will be able to embrace the students, embrace the press, embrace the community, and restore their faith in us. And this is what we have done. I'll just translate this quickly to Arabic and return to what we have actually done. كنت عم بقول انه نحن بلشنا بجامعه قطر 2009. كنا طبعا يعني انه نحكي يعني اول ما يعني بلشنا ب 2011 بلشنا نحكي عن قطر يونيفرسيتي، عن جامعه قطر، ونحكي انه والله نحن جامعتنا يعني هيك وهيك. فاللي صار مباشره بعد يعني شهرين، يعني هي كانت باكتوبر وهي بديسمبر، فبعدها بشهرين مجموعه من الطلاب كانوا مستائين، لانه على الواقع كانوا بيحسوا انه هن ما في حدا عم يعبرهم او يحكي عنهم، فلما نحن صرنا نحكي عن حالنا بجامعة قطر انه وقعنا اتفاقية او عملنا هيك او سوينا هيك، فالطلبة اسسوا حساب سموه كيو فيل وقعدوا يشتكوا على جامعة قطر. فكان مثل حسب رأيي انه كان مثل يعني هي دعوة لجامعة قطر انه عبرونا شوي، يعني شو يعني اسمعوا لنا يعني so please listen to us يعني basically. فنحن طبعا انت في عندك خيارين، يا اما مثل ما كنت عم اقول انه في انت عندك دائرة تأثير، الشغلات اللي ممكن تعملها وتعالجها اللي هي معالجة الشكاوي، تحسين خدمات وبناء علاقات، او انك تركز على دائرة الاهتمام اللي هي الطلبة والصحافة والمجتمع. ممكن انت تعبي صحف مقالات ايجابية عنك حتى الناس يعني تصلح الصورة عليك عنك، او انه مثلا انت تجتمع مع الطلبة صاحبين الحساب وتقول لهم انه معلش سكروا كذا والى اخره. فكل هاي الشغلات ما راح تنفع اذا ما حليت المشاكل على ارض الواقع، ما راح تنفع. اذا ركزت على الطلبه والصحافه والمجتمع اللي هن برا دائره التاثير تبعك، اللي حيصير انه دائره التاثير تبعك راح تصغر مثل ما صار مع جامعه كولومبيا ميزوريان، والناس راح تفقد الثقه فيك كجامعه. اما اذا ركزت على الشغلات اللي ممكن تعملها مثل معالجه الشكاوي وتحسين خدمات بناء علاقات، فراح دائره تاثيرك راح تكبر، وراح تقدر تحتوي الصحافه والطلبه والمجتمع، وهذا اللي عملناه. So what we actually did when this happened, and I know a lot of the people that I meet that want to tap into social media are afraid of like having a backlash, but it's totally manageable, and it needs some kind of a patience and genuine desire to improve our relations with the students. So what we did is that we created an account called QU Help, and at the same time there was the campus facility management department in the university, you know, the department that handles the campus facilities. They launched a service called Improve QU, and I came up to them and told them, by the way, most of the QU fails complaints were about campus facilities, like for example a broken lamp or a broken hose or whatever. So why don't you collaborate with us and we can tackle those complaints through QU Help support account. And they liked the idea, and they added to their poster announcement. And they said we agreed on adding this line: capture, locate, and comment. So basically, the student can capture where they see something that is wrong or where their complaint is regarding the ITS or regarding the security or regarding the campus facilities, because these are the areas that the department is specialized on. So, they can send it to us at Improve QU. And we started working on this project together, and we changed QU Help to Improve QU actually after that, to deal with those complaints. And the results were amazing. So let's take a look at the results. So in May, so we started this in January, right? So a month after the QU fail has started. And in May, these were the number of followers. Almost 2,000 for QU fail, and only 100 followers for Improve QU. So we kept going and kept going and kept like solving problems and so on. And in the next semester, September 2012, there was 2,400 for QU fail and 500 for Improve QU. So on, and it kept going on and on until we came to almost June 2013. So the number of QU fail users started to stop and then decrease. So it was like 2,500 here and decreased a little bit. And our followers keep improving and to catch up with it. And actually what I noticed is that students started to like join our team, like join our Improve QU team, and started criticizing QU fail people and saying to them, why are you complaining on QU fail people? You're just ruining your university's image for the public, while you can actually complain at Improve QU and they will solve your problems. And the Improve QU support team was actually very collaborative, and it was a very great experience between us and them. And we succeeded in solving a lot of problems. So this just lift up our credibility with the students and regained our trust with them. And at the moment, it's in May 2016. This is what QU fail looks like. no longer exists. We did not contact, or some people might think that we threatened the people of QFail. This did not happen. Like, it just like got inactive, and it has no tweets for a long time. And until the admin thought that, why do we have this account anymore? ImproveQ is doing it all, and also like and we end up with 5,000 followers in the end. I'll just go through the Arabic as well to tell the story. Alright. طيب احنا شو عملنا؟ نحن قلنا انه اوكي نحن حنركز على الشغلات اللي بدائرة التأثير تبعنا، تمام؟ فشو عملنا؟ عملنا حساب اسمه كيو هيلب بالسوشيال ميديا ديبارتمنت تبعنا. وقلنا انه خلينا نساعد الطلبه، خلينا نحل مشاكلهم. بنفس الوقت كان في يعني لحسن الحظ يعني كان في اداره المرافق الجامعيه بجامعه قطر عم تعمل خدمه جديده اسمها ImproveQ، تمام؟ فImproveQ كانت هي الخدمه انه يعني تقول للطلبه اذا في عندكم اي شيء تواصلوا معنا ونحن حنحله، خصوصا لانه QFail كان معبى شكاوي على المرافق الجامعيه. فيلي عملناه هو انه اجيت لعندنا انا قلت لهم طب ليش ما تضيفوا تويتر؟ لانهم كانوا بس بدهم يحطوا الايميل والايميل والرقم الهاتف وكمان الويب سايت. فقلت لهم نو، يعني اد تويتر، يعني انه ضيفوا التويتر اكونت عليها لحتى تقدروا تتعاملوا مع الشكاوي الموجوده على QFail. فاللي صار انه فعلا عجبتهم الفكره وعملوا هي اللاين هذا اللي هون، صور حتى تعلق، يعني انه الطلبه ممكن يصوروا شيء عم يصير خطا في يعني ليت مكسور مثلا او هوز مكسور او شيء، ويصوروه ويحددوا وين الموقع اللي موجود في الكامبس تبعنا في الحرم الجامعي، وبعدين يبعثوه لImproveQ لحتى نحن نحل هذا الموضوع. ولا صراحة يعني تقريبا لمدة سنة كان في تعاون قريب جدا بيننا نحن في السوشيال ميديا بإدارة العلاقات الخارجية وبين إدارة المرافق الجامعية، وكان الطلبة يعني يشتكوا عنا ونحن نحل لهم المشاكل تبعهم، لدرجة إنه الطلبة ذات نفسهم صاروا ينتقدوا الطلبة يلي عم يحكوا على QFail، لأن اللي عم يحكي على QFail بس عم يسيء لسمعة الجامعة بين المجتمع، بس اللي عم يروح على ImproveQ عم يساهم في تطوير الجامعة. فالناس صارت تضل بعضها، يعني تدل بعضها انه روح على ImproveQ ساهم بتطوير جامعتك، بدل ما يعني مثلا تتحلطم او يعني تتذمر على QFail، اعمل شيء وساعد يعني اداره المرافق الجامعيه انه يحسنوا هذا. وهذا الشيء نجح بشكل رائع جدا والحمد لله. اذا بتشوفوا مثلا بمايو كان عدد الفولورز بعد 5 شهور من اطلاقه للQFail كان 1900 تقريبا، يعني 2000 تقريبا، اما نحن كنا بس 100. بعدين سبتمبر كان 2400 للQFail ونحن كنا بس 500. تابعنا هذا الشيء. ديسمبر 2500 بعد تقريبا سنه من اطلاق الموضوع نحن لساتنا 800. بجون يعني بعد سنه ونص العدد الفولورز او عدد المتابعين تبع QFail صار يقل شوي، وعدد المتابعين تبع ImproveQ وصل ل 2000. فشوف كيف يعني تقاربت النسب. والان هلا نحن في مايو 2016 هذا هو الQFail توقف تماما. طبعا نحن ما حكينا مع الQFail ولا طلبنا منهم انه يعني to stop it or to يعني ما قلنا انه وقفوا هذا الشيء، ما اجى ابدا هذا الشيء من عنا ابدا. هن الطلبه يعني الحساب لمده تقريبا سنه او سنتين بطل اصلا له اي تغريده اي يعني تفاعل. فبالاخير يعني صاحب الحساب شاف انه ما لازم هذا الحساب يكون موجود، لانه ImproveQ بكفي بيوفي، ووصلنا حاليا الى 5000 فولور، واللي ساعدنا طبعا عم نحل المشاكل والى اخره. طيب it was at that moment at social media unit at Qatar University that we highlighted this code as our motto, and we built the first layer in the paradigm that you see, which is we think of our social media networks as an establishment of an ear before it being an establishment of a mouth. And that was our motto that we came up with from this experience. بهديك اللحظة نحن قلنا إنه عملنا هذا الشعار هو اللي قلنا إنه شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي بالنسبة لنا هي منصة إصغاء قبل أن تكون منبر حديث. Of course, to replicate the success of this experiment, we launched something called social media package, which is a decentralized social media accounts for example, the food services, for the student affairs, for the colleges and departments around the university, and we train them on how to, and we convey those experiences to them, and we also give them the ability to join the conversation and bridge the gaps between the students and the departments. طبعا نحن حتى نكرر هذا التجربه الناجحه عملنا شيء اسمه باقه الشبكات، وخلينا كل الاقسام والكليات والخدمات او الستودنت سيرفيسز كله يكون في عنده تويتر اكاونت او فيسبوك بيج لحتى يقدر يتواصل ونجسر المسافات بين الطلبه وبين الجامعه، يعني اقسام الجامعات. تمام. Right, I know you might be feeling that all right, like I know I've been talking a lot, but this was like the most important element of it all, and I will just go through this more easily. And this is the lighter part of the presentation. So هلا نحن أنا بعرف إنه حكيت كثير عن موضوع listening، بس هلا إن شاء الله رح يكون هذا البارت الجاي خفيف عليكم بإذن الله. Now, so we're gonna talk about the second layer, which is talk. رح نحكي عن ثاني خطوة وهي التحدث. Right. So now that we listen, what we do is that we start to talk, and we still did not get to the interactive content yet, because there are stuff that we have to do before we get there, which is the layer of talk. So now that we listen, now we know the problems. Now that we know the problems that we are facing, or now that we know the interest of the students, we should have like the first block that is the basis that is basically the foundation of our social media account. Any social media account is expected from the student perspective is that it's expected to provide some kind of credible information. So before we move to interactive and engaging content, we have to mind the element of providing credible information that we can depend on. I am, as a student, I can depend on Qatar University official account to, first of all, answer my questions about, for example, admission and registration and so on, and also answer my complaints, as we said, through Improve KU or through other support account, and also to give me information about, like, for example, activities that are happening and so on. And the way to achieve all those stuff, for example, looking at Qatar University experience, is that we can, what we did is that we partnered with the student support team or student help desk at the student affairs department or sector, because at external relations, okay, we have the key messages, we have the marketing material, we have all of that, but we do not have answers to questions that were coming to us on Twitter account about admission and registration. So what we did is that we sought the student sector, student affairs sector, and we specified the information help desk or the student help desk, and we asked them to, we gave them access to our Twitter account, our Facebook, and so on, so that they can provide up-to-date answers to all the questions that are coming on our social media. So this is a very important building blocks for your social media channel. You cannot be out there and as a credible source, or the source that that students will depend on, or even the prospective students will depend on, and not provide the up-to-date answers. It's important that the people of the experience get access to your social media accounts, because you don't want to give conflicting answers with what is up-to-date. Partnering with people who handle the complaints, just like, for example, the campus facilities is also important, or the food services as another example, and also like building relations internally with, for example, the event organizers, the student activities department, and the media department, those who have the news and the announcements about the events that are happening. So if you satisfy those kind of building blocks about the talking layer and provide credible information, up-to-date information and answers, you will have a much better, solid, trustworthy account that students can depend on and feel satisfied or assured that okay, the university is providing us with all these up-to-date information. كنا بس عم نحكي عن موضوع التحدث انه نحن لسه قبل ما يعني نعمل شغلات بتكون هيك انتراكتيف او تفاعليه مع الطلبه، لازم نحقق شغلات اساسيه. انت كحساب رسمي لازم تقدم خدمات معينه، لازم تتعاون مع فريق دعم الطلبه فرضا للاجابه عن اسئله. نحن بجامعه قطر كان يجينا كثير اسئله عن القبول والتسجيل والى اخره، فنحن بالعلاقات الخارجيه طبعا ما كان عندنا هي الاجوبه لهي الاسئله، فكنا نلجا لقطاع شؤون الطلاب. قطاع شؤون الطلاب في فريق مختص اللي هو الستودنت هيلب ديسك، هو اللي كان عنده كل الاجوبه، فاعطيناهم اكسس او مثل يعني دخول على شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي تبعنا اللي هي الفيسبوك والتويتر وحتى الانستغرام، لحتى يجاوبوا على الاسئله يلي يعني اللي بتجينا بشكل يعني طبعا حرفي، وبشكل انه يكون كل شيء محدث يعني لاخر تحديث. ما بدنا مثلا حدا يكون عم يجاوب على اسئله وما في يعني تكون مخربطه او تتعارض مع الاجوبه اللي بيقدمها قطاع ثاني او قطاع مختص، فضروري يكون في تعاون. التعاون الثاني مع فرق الدعم، يعني مثل نحن تعاوننا مع اللي هو إدارة المرافق الجامعية، انه اللي يتعاملوا مع الشكاوى، او مثلا مع إدارة الخدمات الغذائية، فنحن كمان لازم انه يكون في عندنا حدا نتعاون معه لحتى نرد على الشكاوي. وبالاخير يعني لازم نبني علاقاتنا داخليا مع اصحاب المحتوى، يعني مثلا مع فريق الفعاليات. على سبيل المثال فريق الفعاليات عنده كل الفعاليات اللي عم تصير بالجامعه واللي نحن بنعلنها على السوشيال ميديا، عنده كل الاخبار. مثلا فريق الاعلام عنده كل الاخبار اللي عم تصير عن الجامعه، كليه فتحت من جديد او الى اخره. فاذا نحن يعني بنينا هالعلاقات وخلينا المعلومات عم تصير بشكل سلس، فهذا الشيء رح يعطي مثل مصداقيه لحسابنا على السوشيال ميديا، انه نحن الطلبه بيقدروا يعتمدوا علينا في انه نجاوب على اسئلتهم، نتعامل مع الشكاوي تبعهم ونخبرهم باخر الاخبار تبع الجامعه. فهي لبنه اساسيه لاي يعني منصه تواصل اجتماعي. We're just gonna take a question that is coming to us. Alright. هلا السؤال انه عندي سؤال، اذا فتحنا مجال لطلب الانتقاد والحديث عن الجامعه قد تتعرض كليه مؤسسه الانتقاد الحاد، خاصه اذا كانت المؤسسه حديثه النشأه. طبعا انت هذا السؤال طبعا يعني بمحله، وهذا الشيء يعني مو المستغرب انه يصير. يعني نحن كمان تعرضنا للانتقاد عن الجامعه، وفي جامعات كثير تعرضت للانتقاد. هو فعليا نحن شوف في مثل يعني شعرة بين انه نحن نتعامل مع الانتقادات او نفتح الباب للانتقادات. شلون؟ يعني هلا نحن بشكل او باخر لما شفت انه نحن فتحنا امبروف كيو، ما صرنا نرد على الشكاوي من جامعة قطر، لا فتحنا حساب فرعي. فهي استراتيجية نحن ممكن يعني المؤسسات الثانية ممكن يعني تتخذها، بس يعني طبعا اذا المشكله طبعا كانت كبيره جدا طبعا لازم يعني حساب الجامعه الرسمي هو اللي يرد برد معين. بس بالشغلات اللي بتتعلق مثلا مثل الكيوفيل، يعني انت شفت انه في معظم الطلبه عم يشتكوا من شغله معينه، فنحن جبنا الفريق المختص بهذا الشيء واعطيناه تويتر اكاونت لحتى التواصل بين القسم وبين الطلبه يكون سريع. هلا ممكن انت كمنسق شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي ممكن تشتغل في هذا المكان، فممكن تتعامل بشكل يعني مباشر معهم من حساب الجامعه الرسمي، بس طبعا يعني هي كلها شغلات اداريه فينا نقول، وانت ممكن تتخذ هذا القرار. المهم النقطه هي انه نحن كجامعه، وانا كنت اقول مثلا للفريق اللي بيشتغل معه انه مو اي مشكله يعني بتصير او اي انتقاد بصير يعني لازم نرد عليه. لا، نحن بنعمل مثل ايش؟ مثل اولويات، نعطي لهي المشكله اولويه لحتى نحكي عنها ولحتى نعالجها ولحتى نطلق عليها بشبكات التواصل الاجتماعي. بس مهم كثير، يعني كنا عم نحكي على انه في شعره بين انك تتعامل مع المشاكل وتفتح باب الانتقاد، انه ما بدك تخلق مجتمع على السوشيال ميديا مبني على انه نحن كل الحكي اللي عم نحكي انه على الانتقادات، انه شو شغلات عم تصير معكم، شو شغلات هذا. يعني انا ابدا ما بحبذ انه انت مثلا خصوصا اذا انت عم تتعامل مع الانتقادات وعم تتعامل مع الشكاوي، انه ما مثلا نعلن على تويتر الى طلبتنا الكرام خبرونا شو الشكاوي اللي عندكم مثلا. يعني هيك بنكون نحن فتحنا الباب ورح يجيك انتقاد. واذا عملته بالشكل، اذا عملته مره او مرتين طبعا هذا الشيء لا باس به طبعا، لانه انت عم تعبر عن المجتمع الجامعي. ولكن اذا صرنا نركز عليه وكل جهودنا عم تتمحور حوالين الإجابة على الانتقادات، فهذا الشيء رح يخلق مجتمع، وانت كمدير مجتمع يعني هيخلق مجتمع متمحور حول الانتقادات. فأنا بشوف انه اذا في مشاكل مثلا الانتقاد الحادي اللي تعرضت له جامعة كولومبيا المزيريان، انه هي لازم تنحل على مستوى عالي من الجامعة، ونحن كمنسقين شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي لازم نشرح لهم وجهة نظر الطلبه، خصوصا انه نحن اللي عندنا يعني البصيره على المعلومات اللي عم تجي عن طريق السوشيال ميديا وعن وجهات نظرات الطلبه. فانه نقرب وجهات نظر الطلبه مع اداره الجامعه، هيك بنقدر نساعد نحافظ على مجتمع يعني صحي. ما تخاف ابدا من ما تخاف ابدا من الانتقاد الحاد، انت ممكن تحله بالتعاون بس ما لازم تتركه. ومتى ما حليته خلص الطلبه، اذا صار في عندك سيستم شغال على تناول الانتقادات وكل فرق الدعم كانت موجوده، وانت يعني دربتهم على انه كيف يتعاملوا مع شكاوي الطلبه بشكل يعني في تفاهم بدون ما نحن نحارب الطلبه او نكون نبره دفاعيه عنا، فهذا الشيء خلص رح يرفع عن حب الطالب لجامعته، وما رح يعني حده الانتقاد رح تخف مع الزمن. يعني نحن صراحه يعني هلا نحن بجامعه قطر لما كنا نحط اي خبر ايجابي عن الجامعه من 3 سنين كنا نلاقي انتقاد لاذع، بس هلا صار الطالب يعني بحب جامعته اكثر، وواثق انه اذا اشتكى الجامعه رح تسمع له مثلا في اهم المواضيع طبعا، يعني مو بكل شيء، يعني ما نفتح الباب يعني 180 درجه. فصار في عنده ثقه بالجامعه، صار في عنده العلاقه صارت صحيه بينه وبين الجامعه. فان شاء الله اكون جاوبت على سؤالك. We take another question before we move on. So yeah, how you balance the interactions that take place on social media versus the personal conversation that should take face to face. For student development, we want the students to be able to interact in person to develop their social skills. Okay, great. Now it's a little bit connected to the question that I was answering in Arabic. So let's get both of them. So the question in Arabic was like if we open the door to complaints, this will make us more vulnerable or more prone to a lot of complaints that takes place. And this is true actually in some regions or for a lot of universities. So basically there is like a thin line between handling complaints and opening the door to complaints and centering our community as community managers, centering our community around complaints. So for example, when we tackled the QU fail, we opened a specialty account, which is Improve QU, and we tackled those issues and we solved the problems. But I wouldn't say that, for example, that through our official account, of course we should tackle like huge issues, like for example, Columbian Missouri, this is a campus-wide issue, and we should have a command. But our efforts should not be centered around handling complaints. We should prioritize complaints. As an institution, we cannot deal with a lot of complaints or with each complaint that the student is throwing out to the community, because to our experiences, some complaints might not have the consensus of the other students. So I'm not talking about creating a culture that's centered around complaints, because there are other things that we can talk about. We can talk about the activities, we can talk about the success stories and so on. So do not feel afraid. My message that I want to have across is that do not feel afraid to be out there and deal with complaints, because when you deal with complaints, when each time you deal with a complaint and solve it, either on in the emotional level where you embrace the student and tell them that you understand them, or genuinely be able to correct the problems, because I know problems appear on all scales. Sometimes it takes time to deal with the parking spots problem or whatever, or other problems that can be solved on the spot. So when you deal with any problems on the emotional level or on the ground, you will build your credibility with your students, and your community will be healthier. And you will know that from the sentiment that that is appearing to you on when you are listening. So, for example, when we publish something positive right now, if we publish something positive about Qatar University 3 years ago, we would get a lot of complaints. You would get a lot of backlash. But now that we managed to solve the student complaints and we genuinely wanted to listen to them and solve their problems, they kind of built their trust in us, and they started to listen to us and started to trust us. So even if something wrong happened, they will come to us because there is a mutual trusting relationship. So as I said, the bottom line is do not be afraid to tackle complaints and deal with complaints. This is for sure, but there is a thin line between dealing with complaints and centering the community around complaints, because a lot of students, to my experience, if they see that the only way to get attention is through complaint, then he will complain so that he might get attention. All right, so the other question, how to balance the interactions that take place on social media versus the personal conversation that should take face-to-face. So this is also a good point, and from the way you ask the question actually shows that you are aware that you do not want your students to be always on social media, and you do not want your community to take place only on social media. You should balance things out, and the way is balancing it is simply managing the community and leading them. For example, one of the ideas that we wanted to have on the ground is that, for example, when there is a complaint about food services, for example, or a complaint about, let's say, an admission criteria or any kind of college policy. So instead of having the conversation online, we can encourage students to come and meet with the VP, the Vice President, for example, for campus facilities or whatnot. And we have done this before. For example, if the Vice President is available, we would launch a hashtag on Twitter and say, so for example, meet the President. And put your question, for example, on the website. So we launch a website for them. Put your questions there, and through our system we see what is the most persisting issues that are facing the students. And when the time comes and they meet with the President, we tackle the most persisting kind of cases. And this way we kind of, because your role is to provide a platform and invite students on it. So whether this platform is a social media or the platform is on the ground, so you can actually influence students to gather around. One of the other things that I really like, even more, better than meeting the President, is to have a debate, for example. So I remember one of the issues we had, we kind of tackled one issue that was persisting on social media that students were talking about and concerned about, and we invited them to have a debate, and we collaborated with the Q Debate Club, Student Debate Club, and let them debate about this issue. So as an institution, you have the ability to influence or arrange some kind of meeting. So this is one way to balance stuff. But having that you ask this question gives me an impression that you understand that this should be balanced. And since we have this principle, we should like take it to the ground, because it should be balanced, and it's not it shouldn't be on social media all the time. Because this is why I prefer using the term community management over social media coordinator, because you're actually leading the community and not just like communicating with them digitally. Okay, all right. So this is just to show some kind of a quick principle about the listening and like talking. The reason is that you listen before you talk is that before you post content on social media, and before you decide which kind of content you should post on social media, and wonder about, okay, will this be interesting to the students? Will this be interactive? Will this be attractive? Just to answer the questions asked before. So you should listen, first, and spend some time with the students, even with trial and error. For example, if you post something and you notice if students are interacting with it or not. So from the accumulated experience, you kind of have an insight into what works with the students and what not. Just like this is a principle is portrayed in empathic listening concepts. Like, for example, would you trust a doctor about a diagnosis if you don't have, would you trust the prescription prescribed to you by the physician, for example, if they have problem with the diagnosis? The diagnosis, or the listening, as we say, is very important, because we have to customize the content and then spread it out to the students. Same thing with the salespeople. They have to understand the needs of the customers and not just like push content or push solutions and tell the customer, okay, this solution is good for you, or this product is good for you, you should take it, you should have it. This push strategy does not work on social media, at least does not work on the long term, because the customer needs to know, if we don't know the needs of the customer and know the circumstances and their concerns, we might give them the wrong product. And it's no longer a solution, it's just like product that stays there. So it's really important that we listen so we know what we talk about. So the principle is that if you do not have confidence in the diagnosis, you won't have confidence in the prescription. بشكل سريع هذا بس قاعدة عن موضوع انه ليش نحن لازم نسمع قبل ما نحكي، لانه تخيل حالك انت رحت لعند دكتور واعطاك مثلا وصفة بدون ما وكان في خطأ بالتشخيص، راح يعطيك الدواء الغلط. او مثلا مع مسؤول مبيعات بيروح لعند الزبون وبيقول له انت بحاجه لهالمنتج. طيب انت ما عرفت عني شيء، ما عرفت عن المشاكل اللي انا بمر فيها، عن احتياجاتي، فكيف عم تقترح علي برودكت بركي انا مو بحاجه له. احيانا لما نفهم الزبون بنحس انه لا، البرودكت اللي عندنا ما راح يفيده ابدا وهو مو حلول اصلا. بس اذا نحن فهمنا الكاستمر ممكن هذا. فضروري كثير انه نسمع لحتى نحن نعطي المحتوى الصحيح يلي بحاجه له، اللي ممكن يحقق التفاعل بين الطلبه. تمام. هلا بكتاب in Likeable Social Media book, you can in terms of talking, we're still about so when we talk to our audience, we can decide, one of the things that we have to come across is tone and personality. And to give you a glimpse about what does it mean to have a tone and personality on social media, Likeable Social Media book by Dave Kerpen also on chapter 7 gives an idea about that. So for example, you can respond to comments. One way is that the way you respond to comments. If your community appreciates some kind of, because I know communities are different all over the globe, and some of them prefer to be formal or informal or useful or whatever it is, but you would know if you are engaged with your students and you are interacting with them and you know their personality to some extent, you would know what works best for them. So for example, you can answer to a good comment. When it comes to good comment, oh, I love my university, thank you so much for providing this cool service or whatever. So you can respond, oh, thanks a lot, Johnny, you rule, for example. Or you can be more be more formal with them and say something like, thanks for taking the time to share. Thanks for liking us with a smiley face. Thank you for your feedback. We are listening. It's good to mention the name of the people when you are responding to them, like one-to-one on social media, because it kind of personalizes the communication and add the human element to it. So this is just to give you an idea about what kind of personality should you adopt, and you can adopt any of these personality, but just make sure that whatever tone and personality that you choose is compatible with the key messages of your institution as a university. What kind of personality would you add? Because in the end you are representing the institution, and also what works best for the students. So again, it's like we are in a community, the university community, just interacting online and reflecting the way they talk to each other. So no need to be formal if you are between each other. The faculty and the admin or the staff and the student have this kind of friendly, informal way of dealing with each other. It's good to have it online, and there are so many examples. For example, when I see organizations or institutions in the US, I see it more relaxed, using terms that the society there uses every day. But for us, for example, the audience expect us, and they tell us that through social media. They expect us to be formal, since we are more into, according to Hofstede scales, such societies or communities are more uncertainty avoidant, while other Western societies might be have lower uncertainty avoidance. It's just like marketing terms that we use to specify what is the preferences of the communities that we deal with. Should we use formal or informal? Either way is good, as long as it's compatible and appealing to your audience, compatible with your organization and appealing to your audience. بشكل سريع، لما نحن نحكي عن التحدث عن السوشيال ميديا نحكي عن النمط والشخصية. فأحد الطرق اللي اللي بتحدد فيها النمط والشخصية هي لغتك في التفاعل مع الستودنتس أو مع الطلبة على السوشيال ميديا. فأنت لما حدا مثلا يتواصل معك على السوشيال ميديا أو يتواصل مع المؤسسة فعليا، فأنت ممكن ترد عليه شكرا كثير، ممكن ترد عليه بأسلوب عامي أو بأسلوب تستخدم فيه الفصحى، بأسلوب بسموه الفورمال أو الرسمي فأنت بتقدر تختار الرسمية والفصحى أو العامية والغير رسمية. ما في مشكلة تستخدم أي واحدة منهم. هذا الشيء يطلع بالطريقة اللي بتتواصل فيها مع الطلبة. أهم شيء يكون اللغة تبعك أو التون تبعك متوافق مع الرسائل الأساسية اللي بدها توصلها جامعتك أو شخصية المؤسسة تبعك أو طبعها. وكمان يكون طبعا الستودنتس أو الطلبة متقبلين لهذا الموضوع. نحن في جامعة قطر نحن الطلبة بيقولوا لنا اياها عن طريق السوشيال ميديا انه نحن بنفضل انه الجامعة الرسمية والوطنية لحتى تحافظ على اللغة العربية على سبيل المثال، لا نفضل انه الجامعة الوطنية الرسمية تستخدم الفصحى ما تستخدم العامية، فنحن بنستخدم الفصحى. I was just telling in Arabic that our students perceive us as a national academic university that should speak in Arabic, Fusha Arabic, or proper Arabic, not the slang Arabic. So they expect us to preserve, in terms of preserving the Arabic language, that we speak in formal Arabic, not just like in informal Arabic. So this is why we use it. All right, so the top of the pyramid is the influence. Now comes to the attractive area or the interactive area. But one of the elements is that affected by the influence factor is that like we listen to the students and we got their point of view and their perspective. On the other way, it's a two-way street, and it's some kind of a value exchange or win-win situations. So, for example, there are some kind of elements that your organization want to deploy into the society, or as an organization you stand for certain values. For example, high academic excellence, or community service, or whatever other values that you may have. So it's important that it's in the end, as a community, to maintain the health of the community and the effectiveness of the community, that it becomes a two-way street. And while parents and students and community are interacting and giving their perspective, it's important that also we share our values in an exchange kind of form, so that the relationship is complete. كنت عم بقول انه من الضروري، نحن هلا حكينا كثير عن انه نسمع الطلبه ونسمع الاباء ونسمع المجتمع الى اخره، بس بالاخير انه نحن كمان هذا السوشيال ميديا هو عباره عن طريق يعني طريق رايح جاي، يعني فانه المؤسسه تبعك لازم يكون في عندها، طبعا اكيد رح يكون في عندها قيم معينه، مثل الاداء الاكاديمي العالي، مثل خدمه المجتمع، مثل خدمه سوق العمل. فكل هدول الشغلات لازم كمان نحن نوصلها من خلال تواصلنا بالسوشيال ميديا. The way, for example, taking Qatar University as a case, excuse me, yeah, taking Qatar University as a case, I looked personally, I looked on the key messages that the Qatar University brand stands for, and I concluded 3 elements. The fewer the elements, the better. The elements of the communication, because when you have too many communication elements, your brand personality will be sort of distorted, and it will be taken to a lot of directions. So it's important that we specify the main key messages that we want to deploy into the society. So anyway, like looking at the logo, it's actually elements that are reflecting, for example, the number 1. This is one element of the logo, which shows that it's the first and biggest national university in Qatar. This ornament represents the Qatari culture and Islamic values. The color brown reflects the environment in Qatar, and those aligned like poles that you see here, or columns, they show that we are aligned with the national vision of Qatar 2030. So I concluded, after reading a lot of the key messages or the marketing materials, that we are centered around 3 things that I summarized, which is Qatar. So we represent Qatar because it's the national university, and within this element, communication element, is that we represent the Qatari culture and Islamic values. We, as you said, we talk in formal Arabic to preserve those the formal language and so on. We are also drivers of social change through the, for example, the seminars that we hold, and the workshops that we provide for the society through continuing education or whatever, and the way we supply the society with well-qualified individuals. And the last thing is that high academic and research standards. So this is the 3rd value that should be reflected. All of these should be reflected in our communication messages on social media. That we appreciate high academic and research standards, and we represent Qatar, and we drive a social change. So this is like just an example of how to build the personality of your brand on social media. كنت عم بقول انه هي بس مجرد يعني مثال عن انه كيف انت ممكن تبني الشخصيه تبع جامعه قطر على السوشيال ميديا. فنحن مثلا اللوجو تبعنا فيه رقم 1، وهذا بيعني انه هي جامعه قطر هي الجامعه الوطنيه الاولى والاكبر في قطر. هي الزخرفه بتعبر عن القيم القطريه والاسلاميه، وهي الاعمده بتعبر عن انه نحن نسير بشكل موازي مع رؤيه قطر الوطنيه 2030. وبعد قراءة يعني حتى اللون البني طبعا سوري حتى اللون البني اللي بيعبر عن البيئة القطرية يعني. فبعد ما قريت الرسائل الأساسية فاستخلصنا 3 عناصر أساسية للتواصل، منها إنه نحن نعبر عن قطر، فهذا بيدخل تحت القيم الإسلامية واللغة العربية وإلى آخره، وإنه نحن نقود التغيير الاجتماعي من خلال إنه نحن بنهيئ الطلبة لحتى يخدموا سوق العمل في قطر، ونحن يعني بنقيم أو من يعني بنحط ضمن أولوياتنا المعايير الأكاديمية والبحثية العالية. Coming to the products of this principle, we as Qatar University communicate our institutional messages, values. When it comes to live tweeting, and this is very important, I noticed that a lot of organizations sort of tweet stuff like tweet stuff like now the president goes and talk and give the speech. Now the student representative comes to the stage and speak. I see those tweets as valueless, like it does not have any value to the audience. So it's important that, for example, when we have a live event, a big event, this is, for example, the inauguration of from the inauguration ceremony of the College of Medicine, Qatar University. So this is one of the students that were talking at that ceremony, and he said that something that I saw that it should be captured and conveyed on social media, and this is one way to increase interactivity and attractiveness to your content. So he said that my colleagues and I dream that Qatar becomes a destination to get the latest and most advanced healthcare treatment. So this kind of like vision he throws out, this student throws out to the audience, and it should be highlighted on social media, and it should be communicated on social media. And instead of like saying, this student, Muhammad Adam, for example, he spoke to the student and so on. No, we capture those moments and we place it on our social media. Similar to this matter, in terms of like having an interactive content, is that you highlight, for example, student success stories through, like, for example, if you have a blog on your website, each week you can feature a content or a story about one of your students who succeeded in doing something on his personal level or on his academic level or in the extracurricular, like outside the class, like the activities outside the class, like sports and so on. Like highlight those successes to the whole university, because students will be inspired to see their colleagues achieving something. And actually, while I was meeting, taking it to, not just to the student community, but actually to the whole community, I was meeting with one faculty here at Qatar University, and he said that, why don't you cover the story of X and Y professors? Because I've just heard that their paper was published in this international, highly admired journal. So he gave me an idea about what good content is he looking for, because he, as a member of the community, and this also applies to the student or faculty who are member of this college community, when they see the successes being shared around the social media and light is being shed on them, so this they will be very inspired, and they will interact with it. So in terms of attractive and attractive content that you can publish to your students, is that you can publish their stories. You can publish stuff that are relevant to them. Like when the time comes to the exams, for example, you can publish stuff about how to improve your how to improve your grading scores, or what food are best for your health or for your memory as you study. All of these are relevant subjects. So my answer is, in one word, in 2 words, are relevant subjects to the students, to the community, featuring their success stories, celebrating their success stories, highlighting their, for example, personal stories, or giving them content that are relevant to the stage that they are. All are should be attractive content, just like this one. instead of like dry content about general news or so on that are not relevant to the students. So look for, keep an eye on the success stories that you see through building your relationship internally or through social media, and try to contact with those students and try to see what they are doing on their personal level. For example, I remember one student who actually like was very interested in basketball and in sports, and she traveled all the way from KSA because we have a sports science program in here, and she joined that program. So I was very interested, and I contacted her through Twitter to feature her in sports events and talk about her passion and give tips to the students about sports and so on. The last thing is that you stimulate interaction. Like how? Like we kind of retweet for good content. Like when we see a student at an event and tweeting in proper, like a tweet with a proper picture that are good enough to be retweeted on our official account, we do that. We retweet them because when you retweet them, you send a message across that you are also a part of this community and you are part of shedding the light on its happenings and its highlights. So retweet is one stimulation factor that you can increase. So the fourth paradigm that I want to highlight is about the community. And keep that in mind, and you will achieve interactive content. It's about the community and not about the brand. And this point was highlighted so many times in the literature that I came across. So just quickly I will translate in Arabic. So كنا بنحكي على التأثير، إنه نحن ممكن يعني بجامعة قطر نحن كنا عم نرسل رسائل وقيم مؤسسية من خلال الرسائل الأسبوعية أو This is Message of the Week، أو طبعا لما نحن نجي نعمل تغريدات حية. أنا لاحظت إنه يعني معظم المؤسسات شو بتعمل؟ بتقول لك إنه والآن مع كلمة رئيس الجامعة ويحطوا لك صورة له، والآن مع كلمة ممثلي الطلاب يحطوا لك صورة له. طب هي التغريدة ما في أي فائدة للطالب أو ما في أي فائدة للجمهور. يعني فنحن لا، كيف ممكن نحن نزيد من قيمة الفائدة تبع هذا؟ بأنه يعني ناخذ اللحظات اللي لازم تبقى من خلال الاحتفال. فمثلا هذا محمد آدم واحد من طلبة كلية الطب من أول دفعة عنا، هذا حفل إطلاق يعني تدشين كلية الطب في جامعة قطر. فقال شغلة، قال إنه خلال حديثه قال إنه أحلم أنا طلابي إنه قطر تصير وجهة سياحية للعلاج الطبي المتطور. فهو مثل رمى يعني هو مثل يعني اعطى مثل فيجن او مثل رؤيه يعني طويله المدى لكل المجتمع، وكان كثير يعني حلم يعني هيك يعني تحسه صادق وكذا، فنحن نشرناه على السوشيال ميديا تبعنا. فنفس الشيء بالتغريدات الحيه، حاول دائما انه يعني تركز على القيمه يلي بتحملها التغريده، سواء حلم لهذا الطالب نحن نقلناه على السوشيال ميديا، سواء مثلا هلا كنت عم بقول كمان انه يعني سلط الضوء على النجاحات الطلابيه، سلط الضوء على الشغلات اللي هي الطالب بحس انه بتمسه بحياته. فمثلا الطلبه والمدرسين يعني كانوا يقولوا لي انه نحن يا ريت نشوف مثلا قصه نجاح الطلبه اللي عندنا، قصه نجاح الدكاتره يلي مثلا نجحوا في انه ينشروا ورقاتهم البحثيه في اماكن معينه. فكل هدول الشغلات هي نحن كل ما نحن سلطنا ضوء على قصص نجاح يعني لزملائهم من الطلبه او زملائهم من الدكاتره، هدول يعني بيشوفوهم كل يوم، اذا شافوه على السوشيال ميديا راح يتاثر اكثر، يتفاعلوا معه اكثر. فكل شيء هو كل ما زادت علاقه المحتوى بالطالب او بعضو من اعضاء المجتمع الجامعي راح تزيد التفاعليه. اخر شيء هو الريتويت. طبعا نحن نشوف انه الطالب بايفنت معين عم يغرد بشيء بصوره او بتعليق حلو، نحن نعمل له ريتويت لحتى نعطيه مسج او نعطيه رساله انه انت شريك معنا في تغطيه فعاليات الجامعه، شريك معنا كعضو من المجتمع الجامعي. فهذا بحفز الطالب انه هو كمان يعني يشارك ويحضر الفعاليات ويغرد ويشارك في التغطيه. يعني بالاخير القاعده هي انه قم بالتركيز على المجتمع وليس الشركة أو المؤسسة. Okay, so I'm gonna go quickly through the rest of the slides, which are lighter points, but the most important part was before us. So ahead of us are just light tips that we can tackle. So in terms of طبعا نجي هلا على اخر نقطه وهي نظم، وان شاء الله رح نمر عليها سريعا لانه الماده الدسمه كانت خلص راحت، واللي قدامنا شويه تبس اللي ممكن نحن او يعني بعض الاقتراحات اللي ممكن نحن ناخذها معنا. So the last step is that you organize. Organize in terms of like empowering other departments and sections, as we said, and spread the social media communication culture so that we improve our communication and our strengths as an internal community. You can put down policies to ensure consistencies. Of course, we have policies for the staff, but not for students. We don't want to limit the communication for the students. The last thing is be visually consistent. Like for example, we developed this template so that each piece of news, only news, are depicted in this kind of template, so that when people see these colors of this template, they know that it belongs to the Qatar University down their timeline. بالأخير نظم حالك، يعني مثلا ممكن نحن ندرب الإدارات وأقسام أخرى وننشر ثقافة التواصل عبر وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي. يعني نحن طبعا بندرب كل الديبارتمنت والاقسام يعني الاقسام والكليات اللي عندنا حتى ننشر ثقافه التواصل الاجتماعي معهم وينضموا الى المحادثه. ممكن نحط سياسات لضمان التناسق. السياسات طبعا يعني ما بفضل تكون تجاه الطلبه، بس تكون تجاه اللي عم يمثل الجامعه. The policies should be for university representatives and not like for students. كون متناسقا بصريا، يعني نحن طورنا هي التمبليت لحتى كل الاخبار اللي عندنا تكون منشوره بهي الطريقه. في عندك الحسابات تبعنا والى اخره، الالوان المعتمده، الاوفيشال فونت، الخط الرسمي، الاوفيشال كلر، اللون الرسمي للجامعه. فمشان اللي بيشوف البوستر او بيشوف البوست تبعنا دغري يعرف انه والله هذا يعني لقطر يونيفرسيتي. In terms of content plan, of course the slides will be sent to you, so these steps can be with you. But just going through it quickly. So if we understand the students, and then we understand which popular, social media platform is best for them, and then focus on our competencies as individuals in their organizations. Like for example, do we have a lot of people who are experts in, for example, time management in our department? So we might ask them to supply us with time management tips or sports tips or whatever. So when we connect those dots, so we understand who our students are, what kind of language do they prefer, and we locate ourselves, for example, this is just for example, on the most popular platform that you use, and then we provide them with content that comes from us as experts in some kind of field. Then we have our content plan, and it has to be diversified, and you can renew this content plan with some kind of long-term flexibility to include more stuff. بشكل عام تطوير خطة المحتوى هي بتجي باننا نفهم الطلاب تبعنا شو بيحبوا يعني كيف يفكروا، شو هي الشغلات اللي بيحتاجوها، وين موجودين هن، هل موجودين على تويتر ولا فيسبوك ولا انستغرام ولا يوتيوب، وبعدين نحن شو نقاط القوة اللي عندنا. هل عندنا مثلا ناس خبراء في مجال تنظيم الوقت، فنحن ممكن نحن ننشر يعني مثل نصائح عن تنظيم الوقت. المهم بالاخير بيطلع معنا من هي التوصيل او الماتش يعني خطة محتوى، وخطة محتوى ممكن تتجدد على المدى البعيد. At the end, we will have main platforms and subordinating platforms. For example, at Qatar University, these are our main platforms, and we use this, like for example, YouTube, to upload a video and reshare it on those platforms. Or SoundCloud, we upload audio files and reshare them, and so on, so on. Actually, this is SoundCloud. This is Issue, and so on. So notice that, for example, for a YouTuber or a YouTube character, this will be his main platform, and will be their subordinating platforms. So it's important to, like you can exist in all of these, but you should have like main platforms and subordinating platforms, which are secondary and which are main. كنا عم نحكي عن منصات اساسيه، ففي عندنا نحن بجامعه قطر هدول هنا منصات اساسيه، فيسبوك، تويتر، انستغرام، ولينكدين. وعندنا يعني نحن متواجدين على الشبكات الثانيه، بس نحن بنستخدمها لحتى تكون مثل داعمه للمنصات الاساسيه. اذا عندنا فيديو بنحطه على اليوتيوب، اذا عندنا مقطع صوتي بنحطه على الساوند كلاود، اذا عندنا مجله بنحطها على issue.com، فهدول وبعدين بنرجع نعمل له شير هون. فلاحظ انه اذا في شخصيه يوتيوبيه مثل اللي بنشوفهم، فانه اليوتيوب راح يكون هو المنصه الاساسيه، والفيسبوك والتويتر والانستغرام راح يكون منصه يعني ثانويه. فانه نحن ممكن نتواجد بكل هدول، بس اهم شيء انه نحن نحدد انه وين التركيز لازم يكون وين المنصات الثانويه لازم تكون. Last thing is social capital theory. Just quickly, what I mean by social capital theory is that the principle that you might have highlighted throughout this presentation is that the more you are connected internally with the organization, the more you are you form some kind of relationships with the departments and the colleges, and you be there for them, and you understand them, and you collaborate with them, the more you will be able to generate value from your organization towards your audience. So for example, if I didn't know the guy who works at the campus facility department, I would never been able to have known that they're actually planning to launch improved QU service, and then suggest for them to include their Twitter account. So this is just like to emphasize that in order to generate more value, more ideas about interactive content, more ideas about attractive or valuable services that you can publish through your social media, you might want to have build your internal relationships. مثل ما كنت عم بقول انه اللي لاحظته من شو اسمه يمكن لاحظتوه من خلال البرزنتيشن هو راس المال الاجتماعي، انه انت كل ما طورت علاقاتك داخليا مع الموظفين داخل الجامعه، فانه راح تقدر مثلا انه تنشر خدمات او تنشر محتوى ذو قيمه اكبر واكبر واكبر. يعني اذا انا ما عرفت الشخص اللي كان شغال في اداره المرافق الجامعيه، ما كنت حاعرف انه حيعمل سيرفيس اللي هي امبروف كيو، وما كنا قدرنا انه نقترح عليهم انه يحطوا التويتر اكونت تبعهم. فالمهم انه يعني النظريه هي بتقول انه كل ما بنينا علاقتنا داخليا حتى مع الطلبه even with the students، كل ما بنينا العلاقات معهم، كل ما قدرنا انه نقدم محتوى ذو فائده اكبر. One last thing is that for the social media team, what you might want to consider in terms of like brainstorming for attractive content is that you employ a part-time student employee, just like we did with Qatar University. Because a part-time student employee, he is actually living among those students. He knows those students who are brilliant but do not speak out about themselves. He knows what students like the most, and he might be a good source of like generating ideas and brainstorming for ideas. فمثل ما كنت عم بقول انه واحده من الشغلات اللي ممكن نحن يعني نستخدمها هي انه نوظف طالب بدوام عمل جزئي. هذا الطالب ممكن يساعدنا كثير في انه نحن يصير في عندنا افكار عن محتوى ممكن ننشره للطلبه نحن، وهذا الشيء اللي نحن بنعمله بجامعه قطر، او حتى يعرف طلاب عندهم قصص نجاح ممكن نحن يعني نغطيها. So we came out to the conclusion of our presentation. Thank you so much for attending. I tend to speak a lot, but only because I want you guys to have the most out of our experiences, and I hope you found anything valuable in this presentation. We conclude with social media networking done right is authentic and real, and this is the quote by Dave Kerben. So people are drawn to what is real, not towards what is fake and scripted, so be real. نختم بهذا الكوت اللي هو شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي يعني في جامعة قطر، عفوا شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي التي تؤدى بشكل جيد هي يجب أن تكون واقعية وصادقة، فالناس بينجذبوا نحو ما هو واقعي وما هو يعني صادق، فدائما لازم نكون نحن واقعيين وإيجابيين. Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا.
On behalf of NASPA, Manasa NASPA, thank you so much, Bishar. You all will receive an evaluation and the opportunity to give us some feedback and to request a certificate of attendance. Please have a wonderful rest of your day.